Alright boys, so today I just want to drop some knowledge on you, give you a quick tip. This is going to be a quick video, but I've been thinking about how much the resilience stat matters this season, especially with how they tie damage resistance to it, especially for my Titans as well, which is also governs how fast your barricade comes back. And I was thinking, I've seen a lot of people kind of say like I don't have resilience armor, or they're having a hard time kind of getting some. And I was trying to figure out ways where you can kind of sacrifice your stats and make up for it in other ways, which is where I came to this idea, or kind of this realization where we have a trait in the game which will give us free resilience and free damage resistance, and that is the land tank origin trait. Now these come on the weapons from Season of the Risen. Now as you can see here, I crafted this auto rifle. I'm still working on leveling it up, so this isn't the crafter roll that I want, but it's the best one that I can get right now with it being level 5. Now the origin trait right here is called land tank, like I just said. Final blows with this weapon grant increased resilience and additional damage resistance from combatants. So it essentially works like Rampage. Instead of giving you a damage buff though, it gives you a damage resistance buff. So for each stack, and it stacks 3 times, you get 10 resilience and 5% damage resistance. Now the resilience doesn't go over 100, so if you have 100 resilience and times 3 land tank, you're not going to have 130 resilience. But if you have 70 resilience and land tank times 3, you're going to have 100 resilience because it gives you that 30 resilience stat. It also gives you 5% damage resistance, so that does stack, I believe, and it's 5% for each stack. So if you have 100 resilience and that gives you 40% damage resistance, if you have land tank times 3, you're gonna have 55 resilience, or sorry, 55 damage resist, which is very, very nice, and especially for those classes where you don't want to run 100 resilience. Let's say like if you're a hunter or a warlock and you want to have some other stats in like discipline or mobility if you're a hunter, or recovery if you're a warlock, and you kind of want to have another option to get your damage resistance from on top of the damage resist mods, boom, here you go, craft yourself a nice Season of the Risen weapon. Now there's a lot of ways you can get these. Of course, you can just come to the war table and just decode your weapons. You're gonna need the upgrades from the upgrade section. You can get the insights very easy now because they kind of adjusted now that Season of the Risen is over. So you just got to do a couple of steps like within the battlegrounds, kill some of the light bearers and so on. It's really easy to do. So the main upgrades you're gonna want for your war table is weapon decoding clearance. Grants the ability to decrypt umbral engrams into seasonal weapons, specifically Season of the Chosen weapons, or Season of the Risen, sorry. And then you're also gonna want deep sight requisition. The first time you decrypt an umbral engram into a seasonal weapon each week, it will have a deep sight resonance. Now this will guarantee you the red borders, so eventually you can craft them. You can also just run the battlegrounds and get a weapon drop, and then of course maybe it drops a red border, which then you can have the legendary requisition. The first legend battleground you complete each week will drop an additional weapon and armor item. As you can see, I don't have all the upgrades because I only got the ones I thought were very necessary. Another one you really want is umbral energy requisition. Completing raids, dungeons, and non-seasonal playlist activities have a chance to grant risen umbral energy, which you do need to decrypt your umbral engrams into the weapons. Now as for the weapons themselves, there's 6 different weapons you can get. They will all have the land tank origin trait. There is a breach loading grenade launcher, explosive personality. It is a wave frame. It is also solar, so think about solar 3.0 using this grenade launcher. You also have a recurrent impact, which is a stasis machine gun. We have a void bow under your skin, an arc auto rifle, Sweet Star, which is my personal favorite weapon from this season. As you can saw early in the video, I did craft one for myself. Thoughtless, which is a kinetic sniper. It's a stasis sniper, so I guess it's in the kinetic slot. And then we also have a pulse rifle, Peace of Mind. So you will need to grind this out just a little bit if you want to craft them so you can get those enhanced perks. I believe that they all need 3 red borders, but I think maybe 1 or 2 of them need 5. I'm not too sure. I already have the weapons I want to craft already like completed. I have their patterns, but I just want to show you guys some potential weapon rolls. So let me just hop over here to light.gg. The first one we're looking at is explosive personality. For PvE, I definitely will recommend something like auto loading and maybe One for All, or auto loading frenzy. If you want to use it for straight ad clear and kind of want to build into the weapon, feeding frenzy golden tricorn, or even stats for all golden tricorn wouldn't be bad. Hell, even like feeding frenzy, something where if you want to just use it straight up for ad clear, then you want to roll for that one. But if you want to use it as the type of gun where you take it out, shoot a shot with it, and then put it away, use your primary, auto loading is your best friend here. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the recurrent impact, which is the machine gun. Clear winner here is definitely subsistence frenzy, subsistence One for All, subsistence headstone. I definitely wouldn't go for firing line because I'm not going to use a machine gun to do DPS. It's definitely meant for ad clear. You can even go the route of stats for all, one for all, which is a very, very good combination. You're going to already be shooting 3 different targets to proc one for all, and while you're doing that, you're going to be procking stats for all. Okay, so the next open we have here is the void bow under your skin. Automatically, you're going to want Archer's Tempo. If you don't use Archer's Tempo on a bow, it's kind of, I wouldn't use it if it didn't even have Archer's Tempo. And then of course you want maybe something like Dragonfly would be a really good option because you're going to be hitting those headshots anyway. Also, Explosive Head is just a guaranteed good perk on a bow. So those are pretty much your 2 options. I mean, I guess you can go Successful Warm-Up if you want to have that really fast draw time, but I think that Dragonfly or Explosive Head are the better options. The next gun we're looking at is going to be the Arc Auto Rifle, Sweet Sorrow. Now, the role I'm going to go for is Stats for All, One for All, because Stats for All also increases your range, increases handling, stability, reload speed, and range for 10 seconds. And then One for All gives you a 35% weapon damage buff for 10 seconds. So they synergize really nicely. Honestly, I've been using the triple tap demo roll. It's not bad. I just feel like for 720 autos, you really want that extra damage buff. So Stats for All, One for All, or even triple tap One for All wouldn't be a bad option. You can always go Perpetual Motion, but I feel like if I'm going to use One for All and I'm going to hit 3 separate targets, I might as well just use Stats for All because I'm going to be hitting those 3 separate targets anyway. Now, the next weapon we're going to look at is the Thoughtless Sniper Rifle, the Stasis Sniper Rifle. Now, I've heard some pretty nutty things about using Overflow and Focus Fury. Now, mind you, all these traits on all these weapons can get enhanced versions. So Enhanced Overflow really, like, it boosts up the overflow that it can do. I believe something like 16 bullets in a magazine. And the way that Focus Fury works is you have to land half your magazine as precision damage to get that 20% damage buff. And it works off of the original magazine capacity, not the overflow magazine capacity. So if you have 4 or 5 shots in your original magazine capacity, and then hit like 2 or 3 shots as precision hits, which you're going to probably do anyway if you're doing DPS, you have a 20% damage buff for the rest of the bullets in the overflow magazine, which is like 16 total or 17 total. So it'll probably be like what, 14, 13 shots with 20% extra damage. This will be a really nutty option for DPS, but if you want it for some other options like not DPS, just using it as a regular sniper, I mean, even that would be still really good, but you can go Overflow Headstone or Rapid Hit Headstone. You know, you have a couple of options here. And the last weapon we're going to look at is the Peace of Mind Pulse Rifle. So this thing, again, also has the Stats for All perk. You can also go with Adrenaline Junkie or even Overflow Adrenaline Junkie. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Focus Fury because it will be kind of hard to hit all the shots, well, half of the shots as precision shots, especially on such a rapid fire frame. Like, I believe this shoots at 540 rounds per minute, so you might miss some of those as precision hits. So that's why I would recommend something like Adrenaline Junkie. So yeah, these are all the weapons of the Season of the Risen that they all have the Land Tank origin trait, which will really help your damage resistance if you don't want to use all your stats for resilience, and you can make up for it in other ways. So this is why I highly recommend you grinding out the red borders, crafting yourself a weapon, leveling up, and then getting those enhanced traits, especially enhanced stats for all and enhanced one for all. It'll just straight up last longer. If you want to do something like enhanced demolitionist, it gives you bonus grenade energy upon getting a kill. So some of these enhanced perks are really nice. Some of them are kind of lackluster, but the ones that are good are pretty good. So I definitely recommend grinding out these red borders, crafting yourself a weapon, and you will really, really enjoy it for the end game content. Or if you just don't want to run resilience for anything, you can get free 30 resilience and free 15% damage resistance. So go ahead and craft yourself a weapon. You will not regret it. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Deuces.